Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. Do remember this is a channel, so subscribe. I'm going to be making lots more videos. I'm back on it. And also please do share and like, because this sends this message out further if it's resonating with you. There's other mums that need to hear this as well. So today I'm talking about the topic of fathers, but also let's consider same-sex couples. It's the same, it's included, and also then the father of the child. Even if it's your ex-partner, there's still an energetic bubble. As soon as two people come together and create a child, pop, the bubble comes, and everyone is an equal and opposite in all sorts of different ways. Do search for my True Essence profile and my family web videos that talk more on these concepts. So with that, we're all equal and opposite, and we're all here to float this family bubble up together. We are actually an interconnected unit. So when we come to that idea, and that includes pets, stepdads, same-sex, partners, plus the donor, everyone, we're all in this together. Whether you like it or not, it's important to consider because these energetics are playing out more than we're realizing. So on that topic, today I'm going to talk about troubleshooting, of course, the problems that I see that come up for so many mums around their partner, and then looking at 3 problems and 3 points that actually we can look at to start to unravel these issues. So the first point, written them down, mums will tell me the father, I'm just going to use the word father, is not helping enough. I can't get enough support, enough help from them. Number 2 is I notice they're not so connected with one of the children in the family, and that can be that they have a really struggling relationship. It may just be that it's not so connected, but it may be really troublesome, and this is where the father takes all their stuff out on this particular child, and you see the shadows of the father. And then thirdly, it's when mums will say, I don't like their parenting choices, we're different. Now, what breaks my heart is when women come to me and say, so maybe we shouldn't stay together. And I want to say, wait, hold the phone. And I've got many other videos empowering our men, etc. Go and have a look in those playlists as well if you're interested in looking more at relationship stuff. But remembering that all of these issues are unravelable if we're willing to do the work and willing to go there and willing to cheer our family bubble on. As soon as there's someone in the bubble that isn't able to be themselves and isn't fulfilling their role to the best that they can, and of course that's a tall order right now, you can see like this person is, let's say the dads are getting forgotten, I'll just use that, they start to cave in. The bubble cannot float if everyone is not popping this bubble outwards in their best, everyone doing their best potential. So in saying that, let's go back from when mums have come to me with these issues. I have rewound, as I've talked to so many mums, and we've unraveled it intuitively, brought it all down, realized what happened at the birth, what even happened in the pregnancy. How were the men either empowered to be the father role, or they weren't, even subconsciously, accidentally. I certainly didn't know back then. I wasn't thinking about it. There is still a lot of focus on the mother, and she's having the baby and she's getting ready. She's got all the choices to make. Because yes, it's a massive big journey for the mother, but sometimes the mum gets so, down that line that they've actually forgotten that, oh, this is equal. This is so equal. The father needs to be involved that much to make sure this bubble is, moving the family unit forward rather than the mum going out. And I'm just using this as an example, going to the midwife and getting, advice and whatnot from other people instead of always bringing it back to home. It always starts at home first, right? So that's my first thing, is in pregnancy, women needing to involve the father a whole lot more. Fathers have been through the generations cast into the breadwinner role. They have not been embodying being a father as much as the mothers have. Like, we haven't been embodying the, earning money as much as the guys. So now it's going like this, where the fathers are being asked to, hey, how about you come into your father role? But many have so much stuff that they're holding on to from the generations, and they kind of like, and looking almost weak and like, I don't know what to do, because they literally don't know what to do. So us as the women have to hold that space to allow them to come, and that might into their own, that might take 10, 20 years. It may not happen in the pregnancy, but also not reminding women not to come into the A-type personality where they're telling the man, this is what you need to come to and this is what you need to be, all that stuff. There's a fine play out in guiding them and then allowing them, guiding them and allowing them. Now, around the pregnancy, obviously there's so much just to check in. How are you feeling? What are your thoughts on the birth? Is there anything that's concerning you with my plans? Because the guys are like our brakes and our red light system. When they have resistance, a lot of the time, us and our monkey mind, our ego has already made a decision of how things are going to be. And that plays out into parenting and everything, that it's hard for us to let go, to allow them to come in and be a team and actually go, if you've got resistance to that thing, maybe I need to reconsider this, because you have a just as divine voice and, trust in yourself as I do. Now, sometimes I might get it wrong as the mum, sometimes the dad might get it wrong, and it's that interplay back and forth until we figure out what wants to be. I'm feeling really strongly about this. I feel really strongly about that. There's a golden answer in the middle. And that's in my book, The Game of Life, How to Play the New Way. I'll link it in the comments below if you want to buy it. There's a whole chapter on allowing what is and what wants to be, rather than I think it should be, I'd like it to be, but I want it to be, my mum told me it should be. There's this golden answer in the middle. So getting to the golden answer takes that back and forth, and that can be tears and arguments and all sorts of stuff until you set your sights on getting the answer in the middle. But obviously a lot of men are happy to let it go. I don't even know what I'm talking about here, so I'll just let her make all the decisions. But actually they are important, because they are the ones that can pull us back into, all sorts of things that we needed to see. And that's on any parenting decision making as well. So that can start at pregnancy. Obviously this whole back and forth and finding the golden answer continues on forever with all the, the challenges and decisions and things that need to be resolved in parenting day to day. But if you've brought your partner in and allowed them in as a teammate, as an equal teammate, equal being the key word, then you are winning. And that's really not easy, because again, us women bring so much. So go with it. Just keep that in mind and see if that starts to allow you just to see, maybe there's a certain time where I'm sitting up, but I know and I've researched and whatnot, that there's like the superiority, the spiritual ego. I've played it out a lot in my own relationship, that I know best. But in fact, I had been listening to a lot of other people that outside our family bubble, and it was my husband that was saying, it's not right, it doesn't feel good. And I had to be brought back into the bubble very humbly to go, okay, after I saw things didn't work out with what I was trying to pull to do. But us mums are, very much going out and researching and, getting in touch with a lot of other people externally, but making sure you bring it back to home. It starts with home. This is important. The father is important to listen to. So if that rings any bells, go with that. Second point, then usually what happens is, with the birth, it will show up where the father is not ready, but literally, let's say blossoming to becoming in his father role, because there's so much. And as I say, we have to remember it's not in their blood, it's not in their DNA, acting as the most empowered, amazing father that we can imagine them in. They've got to do a lot of shedding of all the old stuff that's, come down the generations. So in the birth, obviously there's so much going on. So much for the mother. It often plays out that the men somehow bow out in certain different ways. Some will go off and drink. My husband was working away 16 weeks of the year, so he was out. And then that made me have to stand up and take charge. And I got more into my masculine, I call it the type A kind of, I'm in charge, I'm making the calls. So we have to be kind to ourselves to go, it's all set up, especially at the birth, where you're exhausted. And if they don't come in the exact empowered, holding, masculine, holding the mum that's just given birth and whatnot, in that way that you would imagine they would do if they were just the most perfect guy, then anything that's not there, generally we show up instead and we take on more. And that's what's contributed to our exhaustion. Now, what I've seen through that is so many mums have their thing that they do know. So maybe you will know what happens, the stuff that didn't play out perfectly, not just at the birth, but, early days, early months, even at first couple of years, even until the shit starts to settle from the whole thing going, as us both becoming new mother, new father, child, add on a second child, the family unit, blossoms out again like an embryo, it changes again. So please do remember to go easy on yourself and everyone else. It's not supposed to be a perfect path. This is just reminding you to be able to see where things did go awry. Now, where that thing did go awry for you, you might be holding on to, or you will be if it did go awry and you didn't express it at the time, is often there's resentment there. Sadness that then becomes the anger, and then it embeds down into resentment, these underlying gripe. You weren't there. You left me at my, my most need, etc. And that was playing out in my relationship with my husband, just seasons of life. It had come back round again, either that thing or else something equivalent, him not being around or whatever in a different way, or not telling me and just leaving me to be, struggling with the kids, etc. So that's where I had to really do the hard work to go, do I want to have the relationship on the other side with this knot teased out? Or do I want to carry this thing that's just going to keep like a prickly thorn coming back and back and back? So I did. I faced the pain, and that's the key word, is leaning into the pain, letting the tears up, softening into it. So the more we go out and point the finger and shout or do anything about you did this to me, it's disempowered because it's out of you. Empowered is in. And the tears are the place where you pull that weed out by the root. Do you want it out by the root? If you do, then get to the tears. And that's finding what's actually sad. I was just struggling. I really needed some help. I felt so alone and abandoned. I thought this would be different. Any of those things that get the tears up, you are pulling the weed, pulling and pulling and pulling. And it may take a few goes over time, whatever, needs to be. It may be, think it's all out, and then, it could be 3 years later, something comes up and you're like, oh no, it's still there. But that's the aim, is the more you get out, it doesn't come back in, and it is pulling stuff out. So anything that you can do to really lean into that heart-wrenching stuff that, that didn't go perfectly to a blueprint of how we've got it within us, the perfect blueprint, how it should have gone at the birth and how it didn't. Those are the bits that you are allowed to make sense of, you're allowed to grieve over. Now, on the other side of that is when you're not coming from resentment and it pervades into our relationship and how we behave and what we say and what we do with our partner in all sorts of ways. For example, my husband used to say, can you stop leaving this teaspoon on the bench? I'd just use one and put on the bench in case I needed to stir a tea or something again. And I could hear my monkey mind being, nah, not going to worry. That was the thread from the resentment of, nope, I actually don't respect you so much. Why? When you actually put your finger on it, it's because you abandoned me, you hurt me, etc. And read my book if you'd like to see it. Actually, they are just the character that's bringing up old stuff. So once you face the resentment, though, that's when the gold happens for couples. Literally night and day, things swap around and everything goes 10 times better. All of a sudden, you're willing to help them out. And then all of a sudden, they're coming on in and they're doing all sorts of great things that you didn't imagine they could do. So that's the miracle of doing this inner work. When the more pain you do feel, the more light you get on the other side. So that's looking at pregnancy and beyond and having those discussions and inviting them in as a teammate. Then the resentment, going into your heart and pulling this stuff out. And then the third one, which is also related to resentment, is seeing that the father of your children is bringing in amazing gifts that are going to be reflected in at least one of your children. So let's just say you've got 3 children. It's more than likely that a couple of the father's gifts are going to play out in at least one of the children. If you've only got one child, well then, yeah, maybe not, because, obviously it's kind of like, some of them may not get expressed through that child. It might be some of your gifts instead. But remember that this bubble, it needs to be equal to pop it out, and the whole family unit will take off in amazing ways. But first, we have to come back to, do I see the gifts in my partner, the father of my children, my ex, etc.? And that can be really hard to do if you're holding on to resentment, because it's like this. We've got this bubble of resentment inside us, and it's really hard to come around to the other side, to put that stuff aside, literally, to be able to see their light, even if you wanted to. So you have to do this work to pull it out so you can actually see their light. Now, when you do, then you must talk to your children about it and say, oh my gosh, this is what I see in your dad. Isn't he so good with that? Even if you're not with him, it is magic. If you can get those words out and you truly see it and you truly mean it, then the child that has that gift within them, and you may not be able to see it yet, you may not even know, or automatically is allowed and welcomed to express themselves in that gift. Whereas if you're not seeing it, that's one thing. The child may not express it so much when, it's us to delight in our children. Look what you can do and whatnot. But also they're watching you with the father of with their father, to see what does she think of how he expresses himself. Now, that's where, again, respecting the fathers and what they have to say is important, to get off our high horse and our spiritual ego and our superiority as a mum, to go, sometimes when they're giving me resistance, or sometimes when they're not showing up how I think they should be, they're actually in their light. And I always use this example when I was a good while ago, meeting up with homeschooling families, and often they'd say, let's get the fathers together. And my husband, Anthony, would go, nope, don't really want to, doesn't really enthuse me. How can you not? Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. What do you mean? Like, I'm going out there making community and you don't want to join in. Until I let it go. And then I finally, the more I was letting up my dark about him, I started to see, well, heck, here I am. Often I'd come home drained from the social occasions with everything that went on. It was too much for me. I was already exhausted in life, and then dealing with the children playing up and, chatting. There was just so much. And one day my husband said, I don't know why you do this to yourself. And I was like, I have permission to stay home just like you and actually take things easier. And I realized, he is able to stand on his own 2 feet, and stand there in who he is and go, no, I'd rather be alone than put myself into that discomfort. And that's when wow, I'm not seeing everything that he is in the light. I'm seeing it through my filter of what I think he should be, which is often what we're hearing from the external, other mothers, we need to get all the guys together. But what does that mean if mine isn't coming? We hear it off podcasts, like whatever we're tuning into out there, this is more important. It trumps anything that's going on out there. If there's chaos in the family, it starts at home. You need to come back in and go, hang on, I need to take a harder look at what they are saying, and then flipping it on yourself to go, gosh, what if they were correct? Like for me, gosh, what if he's right, that it actually, doesn't suit me to go out and socialize as much as I thought that I should have and wanted to. So that's the 3 points, is seeing the gifts in the father. If you don't know the father, if it's been IVF, then it's just a whole lot of work, obviously, to notice the gifts in your children as they come up. If you've then got 2 partners and one may not have had the egg or the sperm, with the child, you're still in that family bubble. You'll still come together for a reason. And we're in a bubble if, all of us got together as a community group, we form another bubble. We're all equal and opposite, whoever you pull together. So it doesn't matter if you're not, blood related, etc. The main part is, are you reflecting to your children that your partner's gifts are amazing? And are you seeing that? Or are you seeing them through your resentments and not allowing yourself to see the light in them? Now, guaranteed, the more you pull this weed and get rid of your own resentments, the more you see the light in yourself, the more you trust yourself. So it's this interplay of, gosh, I'm seeing the light in myself. Gosh, I'm seeing the light in you. And that's where the family bubble starts to take off. So coming back round, just looking at the problems that come up, fathers will help more when they are welcomed in. Are you welcoming them in and truly seeing them as equal and important in the energetics? Fathers will connect with their children better if they have, from pregnancy, been encouraged to have that connection, straight away at birth. There's a lot of focus on the mum and the mother-child connection, and that is one thing. And, you know, essentially, we've got more of a guarantee because they were grown within us. We've got that connection. But don't forget the father. Don't forget to talk about it and prepare for it. What's that going to be like? How are you feeling before it even happens? If it's already happened and they didn't get to connect it so easily, then please do remember, chat with them if they're up to it and about their feelings and how did you feel, but also then just feeling your feelings. How does it feel to know, oh, they didn't get such a look in with that child at that birth for whatever reason? Feel your stuff out to find the compassion for them. When the father is having trouble with this child, hands on your heart, he's having trouble because he didn't get that connection. And that's a play out that you cannot rush and force. It will just keep on coming and they will resolve their own stuff as well. You can only do so much to foster it. Don't become the A-type personality that's trying to fix it all just because you can see it. And then also parenting choices when they're different. Again, this is war energy. This is teamwork. So the more you can get on, you know, your partner's or your father, all of the words on the same team as them, the more it goes forward more easily. And that's what I said, coming back to those discussions, finding the golden answer, letting go of the resentment so you truly can see things through their eyes. And I will say on my path, it's been grindingly hard to truly see things through their eyes. Often it's had to go forth until I'm in their position where I'm the one having, you know, doing the bad thing, parenting or whatnot, to go, oh my gosh, now I can see it. And that's the humbling that we all need to go, right, yep, we're all as bad as each other, as I say, and we're all doing our best as good as each other as well. But the truth is, this is important in keeping the energetics balanced and equal. So don't forget that here on the Sunshine Coast, I've got play shops every week, every Friday. Follow me on Instagram or let me know in the comments if you'd like more information. But also don't forget that I do mentorships. This work that I'm talking about today, it's big and it's deep, and I do 6-month mentorships with women, seeing them fortnightly on all of this, because as we start to pull this up comes more weed, and then you're a new family after the 6 months. So if you are interested, there's a link down below. Go and check it out at my website. Just look at my offerings and see. You can take some sessions with me. You can do a full mentorship if you'd like. You can also buy my book to understand more of the energetics that are at play if you're interested in that too. The book also has questions at the end of each chapter that you can use as journaling. So it's like its own little course in itself as well. And then please do spread the word as much as you can. I'm trying to get this channel up and going again and making it as useful as possible. So leave me some comments. What's going on for you and your partner? I know that might sound crazy putting it out there on YouTube, but otherwise, you know, send me an email, heidihosking33@gmail.com, if you'd like more or if you found this useful. Just keep talking back to me so I know exactly how to help you. Bye.